All right, everyone, welcome back to the Spotlight. We're here again after a victory against Southampton. 3-1 sounds good on paper, doesn't it? Sounds great. Reality of the fact is it was as I suspected in my previous videos when I've talked about us failing and falling behind and going back to type against teams lower or so-called worse than us in the league. I mean, I actually didn't expect it to happen against Southampton. I thought we'd beat Southampton fairly comfortably and we'd struggle in the games after that. But for 80 minutes of the game last night, we were diabolical from back to front. Awful. Onana, after all the Bayern Deer talk last week, pulls off 3 or 4 great saves in the first half to stop us from being 3 or 4-0 down to Southampton, who are bottom of the league with 6 points, remember. People say, how can we go from those games against Arsenal and Liverpool to this? Well, I explained it in my previous videos that our side suit playing good teams that have the ball and press us back because we're physically not up to the task of running enough. And in the final third, we're not good enough to keep possession in the final third to give the midfield and defence a rest. So versus a Liverpool and Arsenal, they have the ball, we're penned back in, and we can defend our own box fine with a 5 at the back. The problem we had, as I stated, was now we're against Southampton, we're expected to have the ball and it's on us to do something. The problem is we can't do anything when we have the ball because we're so bad on it. I've never seen a team in the Premier League history be so bad at basics as Manchester United are, with so-called players that we think are good. And I'm going to go on a Bruno rant again, because where was he yesterday? Our captain Maverick, we all love Bruno. He's back. He's been amazing the last 2 games. It's Southampton at home and he's gone missing and gone back to type all over the place, losing the ball every time he gets it. Shocking. After what he's been saying as well about getting up for games like this, and why can't the team get up for beating teams like Southampton and crap? And he's done exactly what he talked about not doing. The captain, which is why I'm having a go at Bruno here, because he wasn't the only one who's crap. But I will say it, and I've said it so many times before, the captain should be held in higher regard. For some reason, he's let off again, playing 90 minutes again. Why? Garbage. Total and utter garbage. And I'm going to go on to another fan favourite next, Martinez. Finished as a Man United player. I'm telling you now. He has been crap. Rubbish, useless all season, apart from the games that I've just stated, where you can defend your own box. And in those games when De Ligt and Maguire have been playing, he's been the worst of the 3 anyway. Yes, he scored versus Liverpool, but there's 1 goal in 19-20 games we've played this season mean that he's back, he's good, whatever else. No, it doesn't. He's beaten by Tyler Diblin on the front post in the air. A kid at Southampton who's not even known to be good in the air, and he basically leans on Martinez and Martinez can't head the ball. How many times are we going to allow Martinez to get away with being out-muscled in the air on set pieces before we actually sit here and call it out, which is what I'm doing now? It is not good enough. In fact, it is absolutely pathetic. And I've said in many games before, there's a difference between being aggressive and being physical. because Martinez is aggressive, it doesn't mean he's physically up to it. Which this season, especially, he's been targeted and targeted badly, and he's coming up massively short. And I don't mean that slant on his height. I mean short as in performance wise. De Ligt, I thought, was solid yesterday. Yoro had a nightmare, but I'm not going to go in on Yoro. De Ligt went out there after Yoro went off and put that winger in his place in an instant, rattled him twice, and that was the end of him. That's a learning curve for Yoro. He's coming to the side. He's looked good in the past. He had a stinker yesterday. As for Agate and Mainu, I thought Mainu was absolutely shocking. Again, when we're on the ball and have to get up and down the pitch instead of sitting there, he ain't got the legs for it. I don't care what anyone says about how good you think Mainu is on the ball. It don't matter if he's Zidane on the ball. If he can't run, he can't play there. We play 2 in midfield against most Premier League teams play 4-3-3s. And you can say there's all this malarkey about 10s dropping in, wing backs tucking in. But the fact of the matter is 9 games out of 10 in the Premier League, we're going to be playing 2 midfielders versus 3. So the number one thing they have to have is an engine, and Mainu ain't got one. So for me, he is out of that position in an instant now. Collier come on for Agate, and he did fine Collier, and he did fine against Liverpool as well. He's got to be in with a shout of starting ahead of Mainu now. He's older, he's more physically up to the task, and he's got to be part of that starting lineup going forward now. Agate was hooked by Amorim at half-time or just after it or whatever. Some people say Agate was all right yesterday. I thought he was abysmal. Remember, we are Manchester United at home to Southampton. I don't care about Agate's running around and tackling. We need midfielders that dominate the ball, and Agate isn't one. And everyone will say, oh, every team needs a destroyer, this, that, and the other. Can I refer you back to recent Premier League titles and the top Premier League teams? Man City had Rodri, who was a destroyer and brilliant on the ball. Liverpool have got Gravenberch. Arsenal have got Declan Rice. They all break play up and are very good on the ball. Chelsea have got Caicedo. You know, we're miles off it. Whatever you think about Agate, again, he falls into this thing of, we all like Agate because he's aggressive and he puts himself about and he's team spirit and all that lot. Is he anywhere near the quality of Rodri, Gravenberch, Caicedo and players of the past like Fernandinho and top defensive midfielders that have played and won leagues over the last 5 to 10 years? I don't think he's anywhere near any of them. Yes, we need him now. Yes, he's been one of our best players over recent weeks. Would he go and play for City and win a league? I doubt it. So we need to just rein ourselves in a bit with these players, in my opinion, because they're not good enough. We are not winning leagues, Champions Leagues, being a consistent top 4 team with people like Agate and Mainu in midfield. And that is the honest fact of the matter. If you can't dominate Southampton at home, you ain't good enough to be doing it week in, week out against anyone. And that is the brutal fact and honesty about it. And I know I'm not really talking about the game and I'm going into each player individually, but this is what I'm honestly saying about these players now, because we was all about getting rid of the players when Amorim come in. We had a couple of okay results, and for some reason we're saying they're back, they're good, the players can do it. They can't. Those 2 results are outliers in a whole season of horrendousness. So I'm going to move on now. Wing backs between Delo, Mazwari, whoever else plays out there. They're not good enough. To me, Mazwari should be playing in one of the back three. He's not a wing back. He's not good enough on the ball to be a wing back. In fact, I would rather Delo is playing right wing back than Mazwari. And we've all slammed Delo of recent times. He wasn't playing today. We was awful wing back wise. The game changed when Ahmad went further up the pitch and got on the ball in dangerous areas, and he ended up scoring a hat-trick. So we've got no wing backs that actually get us up the pitch. We've got no central midfielders who are good on the ball and athletic enough to stop people running through us and control the game from the back four to them. Then we've got the two number 10s of Garnacho and Bruno. Garbage. I've already said my piece on Bruno. And how can we keep the ball in a sustained attack and relieve the midfield? And then I've just hammered the midfield. But a lot of this midfield problem stems from not keeping the ball in the final third. And the final third is Rasmussen, Xerxes, Garnacho, Bruno, and Ahmad. And the only one you can trust to keep the ball for more than 3 seconds is Ahmad. Garnacho is technically not good enough to be a number 10. I don't care what anyone says. If he can't adapt to be a wing back, he's finished at the club. So sell him for 50, 60 million. Whatever Napoli want, the guy ain't it. It's all right in running down the wing once and putting one cross in for Anthony. We're playing Southampton at home and we can't keep the ball in the final third, and he's one of them. Bruno's the other. Back to usual. Every time he gets the ball, he loses it. Shooting from stupid areas of the pitch. Same old, same old, same old. Rasmus. And I have obviously been very critical of Rasmus, while a lot of people have supported him over the past year or so. I've said he's better than Xerxes. But on recent performance, I don't think he is better than Xerxes. He's physically got the attributes to run more than Xerxes and to press more than Xerxes. But on the ball, he's not better than Xerxes. In the box, in a snapshot scenario, he's probably more likely to score than Xerxes. The problem is he hasn't got the intellect of a natural striker to be in those positions to get the chances. If you think a lot of chances Rasmus scores, he makes them himself from a ball being dropped around the edge of the area or in the area, and he scores. But getting on the end of crosses, making incisive runs into the box, being available, hold up play, Rasmus ain't got it. And then you've got Xerxes, the complete opposite, who can do a bit of hold up play, can look after the ball a bit, but then when you need him in the box, he's not there. It's a huge, huge issue. And I was just talking to my mates about problems with United. And as much as I've just moaned about the midfield, like I said, we really, 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 really desperately need more attacking wing backs. And we absolutely, desperately need 2 new number 10s and a proper striker. Or we need Ahmad and a new 10. And 2 new wing backs. People will think this team I sent to my mate earlier is crazy. And I know this is a bit of a ranty video, but I thought we would go back to type. I didn't think we'd go this much back to type against Southampton. But where is the team that I put out earlier to me mates? Just let me have a look through conversation here. But it was Onana in goal. God, why can't I find it when I need it? It was yeah, here we go. Anana in goal. It'd be Mazwari, Maguire in the middle, and Delit on the left at the back. Martinez wouldn't be playing for reasons I already explained. I'm obviously doing it on the team we've got now. I would play Delo, right wing back, Agate and Collier in the middle, just basically for legs because we don't have them. And I'd play Anthony as left wing back because Anthony has got the energy to get up and down. And yes, he had a stinker yesterday. And you could change Anthony for another, but at the minute, play a left-footed player on the left and just tell him to keep it simple. I'd be playing Ahmad, Ericsson, or Mainu as the 3-10s. I know there's only two, but two of those three. Obviously, one's going to be Ahmad, so the other is Ericsson or Mainu. And the reason I put Ericsson and Mainu in the 10 is because they haven't got the legs to be playing in the 2 versus 3 midfield. And they're both technically good on the ball. So if you can get the ball into them in a dangerous 10 area, they can make things happen. And they will look after the ball the same as Ahmad will. The same as Ahmad went to 10 yesterday and he made things happen further up the pitch. Ball retention in the final third, as I've already spoke about. And up top, I think as of this moment in time, Xerxes has to be in over Rasmus. But again, Xerxes would probably have a stinker versus Brighton and we'd all want Rasmus back. The fact of the matter is, as I've just mentioned about them both before, neither of them are good enough. So who else has played in a false 9 striker position over recent times and done well? And this one might surprise you or it might not. Bruno Fernandes. What has Bruno's best period of games been for us over the last 2 years? The back end of last season when we won the FA Cup and he played 4 or 5 games as false 9. Put him up front. Get him out the midfield. Get him out the 10. So when he does get the ball, he's close enough to goal to have a shot. Because what he's doing in midfield and at 10 at the moment is criminal. And that's actually how I would start the next game. I mean, you could maybe change Anthony, but who for? Try Garnacho as a wing back. I would try Garnacho as a wing back and see if he'll put the effort in. Because you could have Delo tucking in to become the 4th defender when they've got the ball, and you could allow Garnacho a bit of license to be the more attacking one. And I think Delo on the right is a better attacking right back than Mazwari. And then Mazwari gives us a bit of pace and stability in the back when you've got Maguire and Delit there. Ahmad, Ericsson and Mainu, whoever you choose of them 3, are technically good on the ball and can make things happen. Then you put Bruno or Xerxes up front. Tell me what you think. And I know this video is going in on them all as a collective. And I think probably a lot of people are saying the same thing. How can you go from that to that? But it's easy. We don't have the ball versus good teams and we can defend our own box. When the onus is on us and our midfield and forwards to make things happen, they're not good enough. They are miles off it. There's only Ahmad that is anywhere near good enough to stay at this club if we want to win things in our front 4, 5 and 6 positions. Those are the facts. Let me know what you know like in the comments. I won't go on for too long today because I could carry on and on and on. But you've got to be very concerned about the 3 games coming up if we're going to play that badly against Southampton at home. Peace, like, sub.